to people.
Yeah, what it is, they take out people sojourning and traveling. Like for instance, Delaware, by the river, You follow? They'll take out, the people migrated by a mountain, and they call themselves, let's say, Tamil. They'll take that out. And they'll just say, well, the Tamil people were the people that wore this particular type of garb.
It's like Semitic languages. And then they develop Semitic people from the languages and start to name the people from the language.
Like Indo-European. Notice every Indo-European word, you'll see an asterisk right here. That asterisk means unattested. Unattested means we have no archaeological, anthropological, or physical evidence that there was ever any Indo-European people to this date. They just reconstructed the language out of roots of the people, literature that's found in that area.
In that region?
Yes.
Okay.
They have to put that asterisk there to let you know that it's unattested. Unattested.
Yeah, because it says a large family of languages spoken mainly in the Dravinian I'm talking about.
Yes.
The Dravinian here in the American Heritage Dictionary, a large family of languages spoken mainly in southern India and northern Ceylon, and including Tamil, Malayalam, Cameroonese, etc. A member of any of the people that speak one of the Dravinian languages, a member of the original population of southern India. That's why
So the original language is Dravidian.
Right.
Dravidian.
Which is a group.
Right, the group, that's
group.
correct.
Languages
Right.
or dialects,
Yes, like Nilo-Saharan, Niger-Congo, Nilo-Saharan, Nilo-Congo, Sub-Saharan, and then Semitic. I learned that from Sanjay. Nilo-Saharan, family of African languages.
Now here, Tamil, a member of a Dravinian race of southern India and Ceylon, the largest spoken by this race. It says of or pertaining to Tamilius. And in etymological brackets, Tamil, T-M-I-L, probably akin to Prakrit, the Midda, Sanskrit, Dravinian.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're naming a word that would identify the larger group of languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in pertaining to like we have the English, the modern English, speaking dialecton.
Yes.
So, if you're looking to learn Latin, would
Latin?
that be easier for the way that we pronunciate words in the modern English? What would we look for ways to be able to pronunciate or articulate the Latin word? Like, would it be an easier bridge when you're looking to go over to another language?
Well, English went through 3 different periods: Old English, Middle English, and Modern English. Latin is the mother of these languages, the Romance languages, French, Italian,
Spanish,
yes, Spanish,
Portuguese,
yes, Portuguese, and Romanian.
So you learn Latin now.
That's all added in too, even though they don't have on the book, Castilian and Aragonese. Castilian
yes.
and Aragonese.
Yes.
Because we have the Kingdom of Castile
and
And
Kingdom
Aragon.
of Argon.
Yeah,
You know, going back to 700s.
yes,
Argonic and steel,
yes,
because it wasn't Latin. It was Aragonese and Castilian. And you also had an area in the Iberian Peninsula called the Hispaniola.
Hispaniola.
Hispaniola under the Visigoths. The Visigoths or the Vandals. You know, Hispaniola. And when the Moors came to civilize the Visigoths, to go control of the Iberian Peninsula, the Vandals are Al-Andalus. This means the land of the Vandals.
Al-Andalusia, yes, feminine. Was the original name of that region. Spain.
Okay. So if you're looking to
Learn
Latin,
Latin, I would start with Spanish.
start with Spanish first.
Yeah, Spanish. Most people think English is the most widely spoken language in the world. It's Mandarin. Mandarin. Yeah, English. There's about 400 in this book right here. What appears to be a English book is really a linguistic book. You can pass it around. A linguistic book.
Right.
English is spoken by, in English it contains about 469,000 words, not counting scientific words. You had scientific words, you know, it can go as high as 625,000 words. Follow.
Now Arabic was predominant in the 800s, 900s. There's a study called the Society, the Library of Timbuktu, which is a restoration society.
Yes.
A restoration society, whereby you had families that kept books in their
Private life.
private library for 500 years. And these libraries now, there's the Society or Library of Timbuktu now, you know, preserving those old books. And most of the books are written in Arabic. Astronomy, math books, you know, I'm providing evidence. I don't just speak out of, you know, you have astronomy books, math books, philosophy books. Also the Moors controlled, there's a book called The Medieval India under Muhammadan rule, from 712 to 1763. And where we controlled modern day India for about 1,000 years. And as a result of our presence there, we transliterated a lot of the Sanskrit and Persian words. They were Aragonized. In fact, the word India comes from the Aragonization of Sindhu, which is Hindu. And when the British took over in 1760, they anglicized Hindu to India. So the Moors controlled the spice trade and also the silk trade. So Arabic was the predominant language of the world. Cordoba, I was housed 600,000 manuscripts, was not the educational center of Europe or Spain, it was the educational center of the entire world. Arabic was the predominant language of the entire world because of the sea, because of the power of trade.
Yes.
When the Moors controlled the trade, the sea, we had the spice trade and also the silk trade. Now prior to that, you had, going back to the Carthaginians controlled the spice trade. With Hannibal controlling the Iberian Peninsula, all right, Hannibal and the elephants in the Alps, right, controlled that area.
In the
So the spice trade goes back 4,000 or 5,000 years. Now, the order of Christ was Vasco da Gama, Prince Henry the Navigator were members, and they took over the spice trade from the Moors. This is how the Europeans came into world power by taking on the spice trade and silk trade from the Moors. So one of the questions was asked to me by one of my former co-workers, how did the Europeans come into world power and domination? That's easy, by defeating the Moors.
You're right. Books that were printed before 1501 are called incunables. You can go to Google, you can Google incunables, and you'll see big volumes of books this thick, that sell for $40,000 and $60,000. Notes, books printed before 1501. And we're not talking about the copyist era, where they would take large volumes of books on, let's say, high arithmetic, Boolean circles, the human anatomy, and copy by hand.
Yes.
By hand.
Sure.
Yes, that was the copyist period.
That's what the
That was-
Cordova.
that was
Going
a
back to
job.
Cordova, 600,000 manuscripts, and that was handwritten.
Handwritten
Yeah.
manuscripts, treaties, scrolls, tablets.
Yeah, hold the book back up again. The hand in the name, I can find the name of it. The hand in front of it. Yeah.
Keith Denning, Brett Kessler, and William R. Laban. William R. Laban was the head professor of linguistics at University of Penn. And his thesis, he went into deep in West Philly, and he just talked to the people, and he, you know, the children, the adults and all, and his thesis was basically written about, although they speak in a non-standard form of vernacular English, it has structure. It follows rules. And then a lot of those words didn't come from, you know, the people of that era, like, you know, I'll be going, the proverbial be. I'll be going, I'll be there, I've been done that. That came from the Irish. We heard that from the Irish. You follow? I'll be going, I'll be gone. Yeah. Yeah.
And going back to the Irish, you have over 10,000 Irish were transported, bound in chains, like sardines. There's a book called Immigrants in Chains and Immigrants in Bondage by Peter Wilson Coldham. Peter Wilson Coldham, I have a reference in Morris Mason. Peter Wilson Coldham, Immigrants in Chains and Immigrants in Bondage. Also a book called They Were White and They Were Slave by Michael Hoffman. He shows through the archives in that they call the English colonies. English archaeological records, the English colonies series, where the Irish and other Europeans who were transported out of jail put in jail for petty crimes and so forth, and were transported, bound in chains, and they were promised this indentured servitude. Indentured servitude is a hoax. It's really a hoax. That textbook stuff is trash. Michael Hoffman breaks that up. He busted that up. Peter Wilson Coldham, they bust that textbook stuff up. They learn in these schools today. That they were lied to. They worked well beyond 7 years, and they worked hard labor. They didn't come over here. See that? They came, no, not all. They were forcibly, I don't say they came, they were forcibly transferred, bound in chains. As I said before, Europeans don't even know their history. Because because the Afrocentric folks say, stories not even told in the textbooks.
This particular word, palimpsest, is the methodology or the word that's used where conquering cultures took ancient texts and treaties, erased portions, and filtered in other information. They actually have a word for it, palimpsest, where you take an ancient scroll or text, and you actually erase it because it was written on parchment, papyrus, parchment, paper. You could just wet it and wipe it off, wipe off the ink.
They did that with a book I come across, God Against the Indians. That's the subtitle.
Got it.
Against the Indians is the subtitle.
It's not written by Vine Deloria.
I just picked it up, and they talk about how they went in and studied. In 1971, they went into an Indian tribe and studied, and they had been there before, and they were trying to bring them into Christianity, and they didn't want to go.
Right.
And so what they did was they rewrote the text and told the so-called Indian that they killed Jesus. I'll bring it next week.
Oh.
I just picked it up.
1971,
1971.
Sequoia. Don't hold it to this. Sequoia. Yeah. Sequoia is a Native American that revived, created a new Indian language. Felt as though the people they were too far away from their native tongue. He created a new
According to Google Books,
language
the missionaries was
called
intended
Sequoia.
to be the concluding book of an
I mean, the history right there, Toyota Sequoia.
transmuted into
It's right there, the history is right there. Yeah,
Should I catch it? What's it? It's
okay.
It's called The Missionaries.
The missionaries.
God Against the Indians.
Well, let me leave you with this. Okay. The Hebrew word for fruit is peri. Fruit. Stand for fruit. You can see some of these sound shifts. The root word of peri and paro is PR. Now, man is a social being. He comes together to do trade and interchange. Follow. Notice you see that mother root right there. Well, thank you. Persimmon. Look at that mother root again. Apricot. Prune. Now, in linguistics, you got what is called assimilation. Abdullah put it on the board. He explained assimilation like you got the word in, possible. Through a series of assimilation, one sound assimilates into the next sound. Through ease of articulation. Going from a nasal to a bilabial is not efficient in the airstream. So it assimilates the nasal My mouth is already in the position to enunciate a P rather than going possible. Possible. You follow? Through a series of assimilation, you'll get grape. See? Same symbol, but reversed. Berry. The P's transliterate into B's, going from a source language to a target language. Comes BR. Right? And then you have grape berry. I think it's one more. Apple. R's and liquids, the L's are liquids, they're interchangeable. So you see that root again. And there's another word on the board where we see that assimilation that I didn't talk about. Do you notice the changes? It's another word that I put on the board. And can you explain it?
The F?
The F.
Yeah, it's almost like in Latin potter and in English father.
Yes.
P and the F.
The P and the F.
Yeah.
Fruit. They'll call this pseudo. But in linguistics, you have what is called one of the higher disciplines of linguistics is theoretical linguistics, where they take language A and a language that's not connected, that has no affinities, language B, and then see if they have parallels. Hebrew, modern English. The roots still carried through. The mother still exists. And that's coming from Isaac Moses and Jeff Bennett.
Jeff Benner, yeah.
Straight out-
I found this to be
straight out his
very
book.
informative, right. He
Yes.
does mother, and he does parent and child.
Parent and child.
He shows, that's what you're talking about there, right? He shows it.
Yes.
Breaks it down in the lexicon.
Yes. BR,
Yeah.
in Hebrew, grain, barley, barn, where you store grain,
Right.
beer,
That's correct.
which is made out of grain. Those, we go to the bar
To drink beer,
to drink beer.
taproom.
Those roots are still there. Yeah.
Would you give me that first word you had where they changed the information?
Palimpsest.
Rewrite.
Palimpsest. Now we have a word that we can explain the methodology, because when I looked up this word, guess what the example was? They went to an ancient codex of the Quran, and it was saying that the ancient codex was tampered with. They see, like University of Penn, I tried to get a job in the Hebrew department, but the person knew I couldn't speak fluent Hebrew. As a microfilm operator, you know, they have the Annenberg Library there.
Yeah.
And when I was delivering copiers, I worked for a company called Rico, delivering copiers. I was in the library and I'm looking at all these books. I'm like, wow, that's volume 1. You have to be part of the alumni to get certain books. And then to look at microfilm, you have to be like a donating member. So I'm familiar with incunables and private libraries. They buy these books on, especially like, you know, high arithmetic, geometry, et cetera, et cetera. And the microfilm, they have to record a lot of these ancient codexes. They take pictures of them, right? And when they take these pictures using the special lighting and all, they see writing underneath.
Interesting.
They see writing underneath, yeah. So, you know, history is bunk.
It's not bad.
History is bunk. It's a lot being withheld, you know, a lot being withheld. And what I do, I go into the language and I extrapolate the science. You know, when anthropology and archaeology don't tell us the complete story, you go to the lexicon of words.
Correct.
You go to the lexicon of words where it's unbiased. Okay, they have a word for cheese. you know, in most ancient cultures, Semitic cultures, African cultures. But what does it take to make cheese? They have to know about yeast, chocolate. They have a word for chocolate. What does it take to manufacture chocolate? They have to know about emulsification. Alcohol, Arabic word. Okay, we all say that. We all say that. Alcohol is an Arabic word. Yeah, but what are the processes that it takes to even manufacture alcohol?
And the effects.
Yes. The reason we use alcohol is to kill germs. Germs are microscopic.
Right.
And viruses, bacteria. You don't see it. What is the process that it takes to manufacture alcohol? You have to know about sublimation and desublimation, going from a solid to a gas. That's high science. You're skipping over one level in the process of going from solid, liquid, gas.
3 states.
3 states. You're skipping over one of the states.
Gotcha.
You cannot know that just by chance. Soap. I started out with soap. You know, I teach you like basic lessons. Soap. Soap is used for removing oil and dirt out of our skin. That's high science. You think somebody just sat there after grilling a cow and just decided to take some of the fat and some of the ashes
It makes sense.
and just put it on his skin?
No.
No. High science. Soap contains myceles. Myceles are little sponges that's designed to remove oil out of your skin. Because, you know, like you said, the spice trade and oil trade was very, very abundant. Now, soap is designed only for the human skin. In 1913, German chemists, they tried to perfect upon the manufacturing of soap, which is already perfected, over 3,000 years old, right? And everything that they did, you know, they tried to speed up the process. Every product that they manufactured was too caustic for the skin.
Burning.
Would burn through the derma. We use those products today, soap powder and detergents.
Right.
We use those products. Notice if you wash your clothes in a tub with soap, the soap will cake up.
Right.
Stick around the outside of the tub. That's emulsification, the emulsifying effect, because the soap is lighter than the water molecule, so it rises up. You know, if you was to wash your clothes with soap, you'll just see patches of caked up soap, because it wasn't designed for anything outside of the human anatomy. High science.
Is that why they want the liquid soap to wash clothes with now, as opposed to the powdered soap?
Well, it still cakes up though. Still not perfected. Still not perfected. People use it as bubble bath. I use it as bubble bath, and 2 days later I think I used too much. Yeah, it's not perfected. It's not perfected. It's not there quite yet. I mean, it's a good try. My daughter makes slime out of it and toothpaste.
I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting with those words that you got there. So basically, really, what you can see is that the culture is in the language.
In the language.
And we created the culture.
Yes.
I mean, if you know the language, you basically know the culture. They go hand in hand. But the culture is in the language.
Yes.
So you gotta know the language. You can't separate the language. You gotta know the language, the etymology of these words, because you can see the cognizance of them. Barley, barn, beard, bar. I mean, it's in the language. The culture's in the language.
I start with a lexicon, like when I try to Sumerian. I start with a lexicon. I don't read none, Samuel, Noah, Kramer, none of that. You know, he's the most,
Widely known.
yeah, Zechariah Sitchin.
Yeah.
I go straight to the lexicon. and you can extrapolate the culture out of the lexicon of words. They have a word for judge, they have a word for teacher, they have a word for school, they have a word for innocent, guilty. To me, book, teacher, to me that's showing that was a high functioning society. A word for moon, the metals, silver, gold. You follow?
Yep.
Now what they keep throwing at us is the religious dogma lexicon. Look at these Sumerian words. They have a word for the heavens. They have a word for an abode that you would go to for some form of punishment. This word means angel. This, you know,
Yeah, I see it.
why is it we always have a plethora of words that pertain to religion? Where are the words for agriculture?
Now, I was just looking at a video, I forgot the name of the gentleman that put the video up, but he said that type of language is defined as dog Latin.
Dog Latin?
Dog Latin. Like dogma, it's
Yes.
called dog Latin.
Dog Latin.
Yes,
You talking about all the religious words?
Yes.
And the word for, you
yes.
know, all the gods,
Yes.
God of the field. All right. Well, what is the word for photosynthesis? We see pictures of the Egyptians, what they call worshiping the sun.
Which is more
Right.
rhetorical than real.
What is the Egyptian word for photosynthesis? What is the Egyptian word for chlorophyll? We see that they use chlorophyll in coloring. What is the Egyptian word for chlorophyll? Why is it I have E.A. Wallace Budge's Dictionary of Egyptian Hieroglyphics, Volume 1 and 2. I could flip open the book to any page. I will not see any words pertaining to agriculture,
You're right.
high mathematics, architecture, engineering.
because that's not the area that they want us in.
Right. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
We're gonna take